All right, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard, Vernon Stewart here for the podcast, talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Okay, so we're going to talk about Owen Pappoe. Owen Pappoe, who is returning. He has had injuries that derailed his 2021 campaign to where he only participated in 5 games last year, and that to include a lot of other injuries that were contributing factors of derailing the 2021 season for Brian Harsin's inaugural realm at Auburn as head football coach. First of all, we also want to give a shout out to the members. We want to give a shout out to the subscribers, especially. I just want to shout out True Auburn Champion, who has been a great subscriber, an occasional antagonist, but a great subscriber. Also want to shout out Scotty Boyd. Also want to shout out a lot of the Auburn subscribers out there. Joe Tolles, who consistently helps with content, as well as Scotty Boyd. Also, Catholics for Rednecks, want to shout him out. Want to shout out Gregory Lawrence. And go ahead and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. All right, so Owen Pappoe, as we all remember from back in 2019, one of the best rated linebackers out of the state of Georgia. As a matter of fact, Auburn does a great job of recruiting out of that state, especially in the Gwinnett County area, oddly enough. Owen Pappoe going to Grayson High School. He was known for his range. He was known for his general knowledge of the game. That's why I think, before we get into the meat of this video, that's why I think although Owen Pappoe will enjoy, I'd say, a 5 to 7 year NFL career, because if you think about it, that would exceed the typical NFL career, because the average guy that goes to the NFL only lasts about 3 years, and that's on average. That's all across the board. That's including the quarterbacks that can't be touched, that stay there for 14, 15. But most of the guys that are in the trenches, their typical lifespan in the NFL is 3 years at the most. I have a gentleman that I pledged Kappa with back in 2000, back at Auburn University, Theta Delta chapter. Big shout out to the Theta Delta chapter of Auburn University. Dontarius Thomas, really good linebacker, but his lifespan in the NFL wasn't that long. But what I can say about Dontarius is that he made the most of it. I remember we went on a trip to celebrate our 10-year anniversary in the bond of Kappa Alpha Psi. And I just talked to DT, because at the time I wasn't obviously doing content at that time, but I just wanted to know. I was intrigued of the fact that I'm, in the company of a NFL player that has his, I think it was a gold card that they show when they go places. And the number one thing that when I asked DT, well, what did you get out of the NFL in the short time span you were there? He was like, well, be honest, Noop, I left a millionaire. And oddly enough, he did. He absolutely did. He's doing some great things. Got Voodoo Wings in Auburn, so y'all go and check that out. But let's talk about Owen Pappoe really quickly, though. Why Owen Pappoe's return is so important to this season. I'm going to tell you, this guy is really athletic. When he came to Auburn, you asked the coaches about him. I mean, it was always a pause. It's almost like they didn't want to say, hey, he's going to be a starter. But you kind of knew, based on Coach Travis Williams' reaction to his questions about Owen Pappoe, that he was going to be a starter. And oddly enough, he started in that Oregon game, and he made some really good plays, and he continued to make plays throughout that season. The crazy part about Owen is that he's not really a tenacious guy. You know, he's not going to celebrate a lot. He just gets it done and keeps it moving. And one thing I can say based on that kind of behavior, like I said before, I think he's going to have a great NFL career. But I think down the stretch, in the long term, you're going to see him as a linebacker coach or a defensive coordinator because of his knowledge, because of his vigor, and because of his stewardship of the game. Number two, his return shows they need the leadership. Because outside of Owen Pappoe, this is what you would have. You would have Wesley Steiner, you would have Cam Riley, you would have Desmond Tisdall, you'll have Eugene Asante, and you'll have Joko Willis, and then you got Cameron Brown and Powell Gordon as players who haven't experienced the real pressure of Power 5 football. And I think Owen Pappoe will be that guy, similar to Derek Brown when he came back, similar, similar to other guys who have had to play that leadership role in their senior year or junior year that really made a huge impact. That leadership piece will be a huge impact for the Tigers going into this year, especially it's such a pivotal year for Brian Harsin. And I think about KJ Britt, who did his time, was under Davis, who was a linebacker and kind of was in the shadows. And then when it was his turn to play that role, he did it admirably. And I think that's where Owen Pappoe will be in. Now this is his team. Now he don't have no big brothers. It's just him. Because I remember playing that role when I was playing high school football. I didn't get the opportunity to play in college. I just didn't want to work that hard. I'm going to just be honest. College football is hard work. In addition to having to manage your time and also manage your social life, I was like, shit, I like the social life. Getting out there and, pounding my body, I was like, nah, I'm good. I got an academic scholarship, so I'm good to go. But either way, Owen Pappoe has that opportunity to be that leader on this team. These are his guys. These are guys that he's going to have to mold. These are guys that he's going to have to put in position to be successful, just like Davis did, just like Dontaris Thomas and Carlos Dansby did back in their days. So it's going to be very important that Owen Pappoe really does step up, because he's going to be the anchor of this defense. Let me know what you think about this video. Go ahead and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Also, become a member. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger. War.